from the government.
Okay. Mr. Tulsan, we'll come back to with some individual stock questions as well. Mayuresh Joshi has joined us. Mayuresh, are you all telling your clients to buy any stock at all in this dip, or are you all telling them that better levels will come?
Afternoon, Lata. Again, I've been maintaining that you will get better entry points into the market. But again, I think seeing the kind of news flow that is emanating almost on a daily basis, first demonetization, then it was a dollar trade, you're probably now looking at tax woes spooking the market. So in that sense itself, I think it's just a matter of time that the Q3 numbers will start coming out. And largely, again, I think all the sectors that have got probably impacted because of the demonetization move, the numbers expected there are going to be extremely soft and tepid. Having said that, my own sense is that we are advising clients to invest into 15% of their investable corpus in sectors like BFSI, select NBFCs, you've got select power transformer shares, you've got city gas distribution shares. So I think there are selective pockets where my belief is that the earnings should hold up relatively better than the other sectors which might feel the brunt.
Okay, well, let's do one thing. Let's take a short break on that note, but we'll continue our conversations on the markets in a bit. For now, the Nifty is still holding just a tad above 7,900. No conclusive recovery seen in the market just yet. But our closing bell money control question of the day is, the market is spooked by Prime Minister Narendra Modi urging higher taxes from stock markets. Do you see 7,600 on the Nifty before the budget? Log on to moneycontrol.com, post your responses there, and we will read out some of the most interesting responses post 3:30 p.m.
We take a break, but thereafter we are going to be joined by two senior lawyers, Ketan Dalal, the senior tax partner at PwC, and Bobby Parikh, chief mentor at BMR Advisors. They join in to assess the Prime Minister's statements over the weekend, as well as the CBDT circular, which said that those who own over 50% of assets in India and those assets change hands will be liable to short-term and long-term capital gains tax in India. Both those questions to our experts in a minute. Okay, as we have been saying, continued seminal falls in the market. Point out to some mid-cap stocks, Kohinoor Foods and LT Foods, they had been climbing and now they're seeing some big profit taking. In fact, it's stocks where money is made that are seeing selling today, notably as in the pharmaceutical space as well, Cipla and Syngene. Syngene was something that had seen a lot of profits. Today, that is seeing a lot of profit taking. So today, money is being taken off where money was made. Money is being taken off where money should never have been made, the loose stocks. So it's selling all over. Let's get Sandeep Pagli to give us a few more technical strategies. Sandeep, good afternoon. What are you trading today?
Afternoon, Lata. I would be stock specific, and we are at a crucial level. So Nifty is still not clear. I would wait for some clearer signals. Stock specific, a buy in a Hind Unilever, stop loss 793, target 819. Sell in a Reliance Infra, stop loss 463, target 444.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Sandeep. Those were some trading ideas. But let's talk about the big issue that's been spooking the markets. Prime Minister Narendra Modi over the weekend strongly hinted at the prospects of higher taxes on income from stock markets, saying that people making profits from the markets must contribute to nation building through taxes. We have a whole host of experts joining us. But before that, listen in to what the Prime Minister had to say.
Those who profit from financial markets must make a fair contribution to nation building through taxes. For various reasons, the contribution of tax from those who make money of the markets has been low. To some extent, it may be due to illegal activities and fraud.
This really caused panic over the weekend, but then Finance Minister Arun Jaitley quickly came and rejected the possibilities of any hike in long-term capital gains tax on market participants, said that Prime Minister Modi's Saturday speech has been wrongly interpreted.
The speech of the Honorable Prime Minister yesterday with regard to all sections, including market players contributing to the national exchequer, the speech has been misinterpreted in some sections of the media, which have started speculating that this is an indirect reference to the fact that there could be long-term capital gains on security transactions. Now, this interpretation is absolutely erroneous. The Prime Minister has made no such statement directly or indirectly. I was present at the function at which this speech was given, and therefore I wish to absolutely clarify that there is no occasion or opportunity for anybody to reach such a conclusion, because this is not what the Prime Minister said, nor is it the intention of the government, as has been reported.
Okay, now those two statements, the markets clearly remains spooked, but it may not be this one, since the finance minister has said no, there won't be a capital gains tax. Let's get the tax experts to parse these two statements and more. Ketan Dalal, senior tax partner at PwC, and Bobby Parikh, chief mentor at BMR Advisors. I agree with you. A lot is awaited, and even a lot can be feared from what has been disclosed in the CBDT circular on indirect transfer of assets, as well as the Prime Minister's general reference that people who benefit from the market must contribute. Enough between these two to worry the markets. Mr. Parikh and Mr. Dalal, if you can listen to us, thank you very much for joining us and clarifying to the extent possible what the markets should worry about.
Oh yes, and Lata, look at the market now. Incremental selling in the mid-cap space. That's the space that's getting trashed now. The advanced decline ratio has 1,400 stocks on the declining side. And look at some of the big gainers. You know, EIL was a stock till yesterday was sitting at a 52-week high. Today that stock is crumbling. It's down almost 7.5–8%. So clear case of profit taking is what you're seeing in many of these stocks. I mean, look at Shilpa Medicare, up 40% for the year. Today 7% taken off that stock. Zuari Agro up 40% for the year. Today down 7%. Dalmia Bharat down 7%. Remember, Varinder, our colleague, had told us earlier in the morning that stocks which are sitting at new highs or which are very expensive could see profit taking today, and this is pretty much what you're seeing in the market.
Like DLF as well. I mean, there seem to be a reasonable support at 110 rupees and thereabouts. It's looking like it will just pierce through those levels, and then I guess there's no support coming all the way till 80 or something. I mean, just looking at it technically, and ADAG stocks, Reliance Infra, Reliance Cap, Reliance Communications, all of them have come under the hammer, between 5 and 7% losses in all these stocks. We have plenty to discuss. We're back in a jiffy. We will also get you a check on the mood across dealing rooms. Surely it's going to be somber.
Welcome back. As I told you before the break, the theme of today is take your profits where you can and exit the market. That's what you're seeing in a lot of these stocks that have rallied a whole lot and have come off today. Cases in point, look at Canfin Homes. That stock is now down 8%. It's up 40% for the year, so money being taken off there. Dalmia Bharat is the other one that had a phenomenal year, 2016, up 50%, but down almost about 10% today. You have a couple of other names as well. Nalco is another one that had a great performance up until the last week, and now Nalco is down almost about 5.5 to 6%. Of course, EIL is the other one. But let's get you some BTST calls at this point in time, because there are plenty of stocks that one can sell into. The Nifty once again threatening to break 7,900. Ashwini, what are you looking to do at this point?
Well, I'm very clear. I like to go with the trend. As you can see, pullback rallies don't sustain. So Tata Steel is a sell with a stop of 385, target of 370. Reliance Capital is a sell with a stop of 422, target of 405. And Granules is a sell with a stop of 108, target of 94.
Okay. Ashwini, aside from the popularity of a certain channel, should we make much of this dithering of the market at around the 7,900 level? Is there a chance at all that the level will hold?
See, there have to be triggers. If there are no triggers, I as a bear, I'm very confident. I don't expect this market to cross 79.40, 79.50. You need to put the fear of God in bears for the market to go up. So we will keep grinding lower because now you get into a quiet period. So you can't announce anything till the budget. And till that time, bears will have a field day. So, the good thing is that we are not falling 150, 200 because nobody is long. So you first have to wait for the market to get into some sort of pullback, create that volume, and only then the big guys sell. The big guys remain on the short side. So any 30 point, 50 point Nifty rally should be sold into. Today we have broken new ground on the Nifty, and chances are there will be follow through, and I wouldn't be surprised if you get to 7,500, 7,600, maybe slowly, but you'll have consistent down days. It doesn't matter 8 days or 10 days, because there is nobody who's interested in buying now.
Fair point. Okay. Well, actually, I wanted to ask Mr. Tulsi on this. Immediately we could have some negative news on December 30th as well, when we will come to know about the amount of money that's been returned and perhaps the hopelessness of any dividend coming in from the Reserve Bank. It already seems entirely unlikely. So immediately we may actually have a little bit of negative news. But Mr. Tulsian, is it possible that the result season may not be as bad as markets feared? I mean, obviously people are going to report lower sales than what people were estimating before demonetization. But is there a scope for the shock being less shocking?
See, Lata, firstly, even if you bank on the Q3 numbers that they are not seen to be as bad, which I have been saying that it will not be seen as bad, still those results will get to be seen maybe by third week of January, maybe after 20th January, because except for the IT companies, none of the companies really announces the results. And maybe with the budget now scheduled for 1st February, I think that many of the even bigger companies will postpone their Q3 numbers post budget, because you have the sufficient time to declare the numbers. Come on the performance of each company. Maybe those who are into the export oriented or maybe the natural resources type of company, they are not going to get any way affected. On the contrary, the results of those companies are seen to be quite good. Maybe the kind of results where we have been having apprehension are all maybe automobiles and the NBFC kind of stocks. And I think that the negative expectation of the bad Q3 numbers have largely got factored in. That's what I say, that the key trigger for the markets to get bottom out is on the expiry day, because the kind of long built up which we have been seeing, the main culprit being Bharat Financials. If you see that the selling seen from the FII along with the long liquidations which we have been seeing, these positions happening, will all get squared off or will all get come to the sanity by end of the expiry. So that's what my thesis is, that yes, maybe with the expiry you will be seeing the market getting bottomed out, and from January from Friday for January series, things will start looking up.
Oh yes, today is definitely a trend day. I mean, there's massive selling that we're seeing now in the mid-cap space. Look at that, 315 points gone from the mid-cap index, and the advanced decline ratio is just getting worse. New, casualties added to that list. Look at some of these names. Federal Bank is down almost 5%. IDFC Bank down about 5-6%. Adani Power, Bharat Financial Inclusion now down 8%. Prakash, what stocks would you sell or perhaps buy now?
I would say that purely a short covering up move could be possible in Bajaj Auto, can climb to levels closer to 2650, stop below 2570. But the stock that looks weak, SpiceJet, that looks like is heading down to levels closer to 56, is heading down, stop above 60.
Okay. Well, after a brief holiday, Nimesh Bhai, our dealing room expert, is with us. I should say our dealing room jasoos, actually. Nimesh has been working the phones incessantly ever since his holiday ended. I think we were making calls to you even when you were on a holiday, Nimesh. Anyway, what is the trader talk today?
Well, Adana, first of all, while I'm back at the office, most of my dealing friends are on leave now, so you won't get much of a feedback in the next few days from here on. But the larger sense is, there is this relentless FI selling which is coming on for the Indian markets as well. If you look at the global data as well, whether it's global markets, whether it's emerging markets or Asia per se, there has been constant outflows, both from the bond funds as well as the equity funds, and that's been playing out in India as well. The flip side is there is lack of now buying coming in from the DIs. I guess that the key reason for that is maybe even some of the local investors are a little spooked in terms of what can come in terms of taxation for the equity market. So there is this bit of nervousness for sure, and the fact that this quarter earnings are going to be a washout quarter for most of the sectors. It looks like the buying won't come in the near term, at least from the larger domestic institutions in the time being. So clearly it's going to be a range-bound trade. We've seen down days. It looks like 79.50 is the first resistance level on the Nifty on the downside. That may again get taken out. But given this expiry this week, you'll see some bit of volatility as well going going into the next 3 days from here on. But largely the sense is the bias is negative. There is lack of this buying interest from the domestic funds. The FI selling continues, and I guess the all eyes will be on the earnings season now, because that will actually stand out in terms of which sectors are still not getting punished in terms of the demand effect. But largely the sense is there is this one-way selling coming from FIs, lack of DI buying, and it looks like this downward trend is going to continue at least till the expiry.
Oh yes, demon effect is correct. That's what the market is seeing at this point in time, definitely. Only red on the screen. Thanks, Nimesh, for that. But let's find out what are the other stocks that are buzzing at this point. Varinder Bansal is here to tell us more. Varinder?
Well, only one new name today, which is Maharashtra Apex Corporation, up 5%. Some other small cap gainers like Banaras Beads, Monnet Ispat, Pritish Nandi, coming off from days high now. Energy Development, Bartronics, Prime Securities, Jacob, only gain of 4 to 5%. Some mid-cap gainers, interestingly, STC is up 20%. The moment it opened up, there was a huge volume block deal, and the stock is up 20%. MMTC is just following that. Some of these MSs like Denon Hathaway are doing good. Panisha Bio was up by nearly 3 or 4%. But look at some of the losers today. Bama Lorry, of course, adjusting to the bonus, ex-bonus, which is goes today, is down 7-8%. But Global Offshore, Canfin Homes, South Indian Banks, Dalmia Bharat, RS Software, Datamatics, Trigen Tech, Saxoff, all these mid-cap, small-cap IT companies which are buzzing in the last few days are seeing huge profit booking today. Titagarh Wagons, look at Emphasis down 6%. IFGL Refractories, a special mention about MBL Infra, that stock goes 5% daily down, has lost nearly 80% this year. Keep an eye on that stock. Edelweiss is another stock which is moving down. And in the last 10 minutes of trade, NBCC is losing from days high, down 4% in the last 5 or 10 minutes of trade. Engineers India Limited has moved down to the day's low, 7-8% down. Granules India is another stock. Canara Bank, look at that stock, 6-7% fall in the last 10 minutes. Ojas Energy, RS Software, other few stocks losing in the last 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much. One idol after another has been falling. First, one thought that digitized or great analytics can help the NBFCs give a lot of loans. Then the NBFCs fell. Then you had the digitization theme being played. Then now even the public sector theme is getting a bit of a bashing, as you can see, profit taking coming in the likes of EIL and NBCC as well. Let's see if that theme can still hold out. But these surprises are not surprising. 2016 actually has been a year full of surprises. Brexit, remember, Trump victory, all of them have taken the world by surprise. Prime Minister Modi's demonetization absolutely takes the cake when it comes to surprises. Maybe the correct word is shock. CNBC TV 18's Uday Mukherjee caught up with Krishna Kumar. He's the investment director of East Spring Investments. Listening to a chunk of this conversation, Uday began by asking him what he thought of the year gone by.
It has been a tough year. I mean, the global environment has not been favorable.
Hi guys, welcome back. We're just counting down to the last 10 minutes of trade, and this has been a very disappointing day for the bulls. No two ways about that. The Nifty by the end of today has erased all of its 2016 gains, and there's been massive selling in the mid-cap space. Neeraj Diwan joins in the last 7 minutes of trade. We also have a whole host of experts sitting by with us. Neeraj, hi, afternoon. One of the stocks of the last couple of days has been Divi's Laboratories. It's down an additional 10% today on the back of a 25% fall on Friday. What does a long-term investor do now? Exit even if you're making losses, or keep the faith?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, definitely the fall has been massive. We saw 20% fall the other day, and today again 10%. But I think after falling so much, I don't think a long-term investor should sell at these prices. So it may take some more time, it may take a longer time for recovery. Whenever these issues come up with US FDA, we've seen the stocks languish at lower levels. Maybe they will be there for 2-3 months, 2-3 quarters, and then they can slowly start going up. So Divi's is a good company. I am sure they'll come out and they'll further 2-3 quarters down the line. I think you can see better numbers coming in also. But for long-term investors, I think it's a hold. But short-term, it may give you some pain by staying at these levels, or maybe falling 3-4% from these levels also.
Okay. Hi, Neeraj. Would you start buying, the eternal stocks, the eternal blue-eyed boys, HDFC Bank, Asian Paints, these kinds of stocks?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, definitely. You named a couple of stocks. I'll tell you 3-4 more stocks also, which we think, these stocks like BEL or maybe a Canfin Homes or maybe something like a Maruti Bajaj Finance. We had bought these stocks at a very good time and we saw them going up. Even after we sold or recommended selling in these stocks, they kept on going up and they really went to crazy valuations. So now that they're correcting, I think now is a good time to accumulate these kind of stocks, which were really the ones which did very well from the June to September time when the markets were doing well. And I think these again valuation wise are becoming attractive. So I'm recommending even to my clients to again buy these stocks slowly and selectively on dips.
Mr. Tulsian, your extraordinarily well performing recommendations, Giant Agro, Tirumalai, I don't know if you also spoke about Borosil Glass ever to us, Bulgaria. Do you think people should continue with these purchases? Are some of them expensive at current levels? What's your advice?
See, Lata, a while back I've said that those who are into the export, I don't think that any companies are likely to get affected. And these two companies which you have mentioned, one is the Bulgaria Industries and second is the Giant Agro. Both are into exports. If you see the major things, Bulgaria making the vinyl sulfone, again the pollution control norms are getting tighter for the Chinese manufacturer there, where the units are getting close. Same thing is for the Giant, the castor oil and castor derivatives, where they have the long-term tie-up with a French company as well as two Japanese companies, where more than 60% of that gets exported and having varied application. So I won't be worried on that, but post our recommendation, maybe Bulgaria has risen by about 200 or 300% or maybe 400% in this calendar year. Same thing has happened with the Giant Agro. Even at the current price, when it is down, it has risen by more than 100% in this last 6 months or so. Coming specifically on the other stocks like Borosil Glass, that seems to be quite expensive now, and maybe the low paucity of this stocks, floating stock, or maybe the low volume is keeping it moving on. So maybe we'll advise profit booking. Coming on Tirumalai Chemical, again you have a mix of, you don't have much of the exports of phthalic anhydride or malic anhydride, but still I continue to have my positive bias continuing on that company also. But profit booking is not will not be a bad idea to go with Tirumalai Chemical.
Okay, well, let's discuss a couple of more stocks then before we end for the day. Neeraj, what are your thoughts on some of these NBFCs too? Bharat Financial Inclusion now has fallen almost 30% in just the month of December itself. In fact, to be precise, 35% this month. Is this a good time to be buying a franchise like this, or do you think that you can get better levels in the months to come?
Yeah, actually, I think there are some issues there as far as pure microfinance companies are concerned, whether it's the coming elections in UP, whether it's some problem in Maharashtra. Even people are talking about the kind of net interest margins that they have on their loans. So I think there are some issues there for which I think I'll wait and I'll go for a little more diversified company. So Bharat Financial is going to be a very well managed company, and once you see some of these problems settling down, this stock can also bounce back very fast. But I would right now go for more diversified companies, maybe which have maybe microfinance as part of their businesses, but they're also used, whether it's housing finance companies or whether it's other NBFCs which have corrected tremendously. I think I would go for them rather than pure microfinance right now.
Okay. Well, Mayuresh, very quickly I wanted to ask you, what would you do with any of the ADAG stocks?
No, again, Lata, I think the kind of deleveraging exercise that has been happening on the ADAG group, selectively, I think one needs to identify stocks individually. So I think Reliance Com, for example, I think there is still substantial debt that stays on the merged entity and the core business that gets carried on. I don't think that has sufficient cash flows probably to suffice the existing debt. Similarly, in case of Reliance Infra, I think we are looking forward to the kind of enterprise value valuations that you'll probably get on the sale of road assets. So again, I think as a pack, I think I'll be staying away at this point of time. I think within the pack itself, I think Reliance Capital is something that I might be tempted to look at. But again, I think I'll wait for numbers to come through. So within the entire pack, Reliance Cap is something that I'll be tempted to look at.
All right. Gentlemen, last few seconds only for the markets, maybe 60 seconds, and the markets go home with rather deep cuts. Perhaps a small solace is that 7,900 has held, or rather the 7,897 watermark has held, but otherwise there is little to speak favorably. 6 stocks in the red for 1 in the green. That's how the markets have ended, which means what? About 90% of the market, or 85% to be precise, has ended lower than where it was yesterday, and some of them with some very deep gashes. I'll just read out the big ones for you, and Sonia will take you through the more horrendous picture that is in the mid caps. Big losers here, Hindalco, and that was a sell like nobody's business for Sudarshan, remember? Down 5% almost. Cipla 4.5%, Oro 3.5%, 3.75%, Bank of Baroda 3.3%, Eicher down 3.2%, Lupin down 3.2%, Bharti Infra almost 3%, Tata Steel 2.7%, Z Entertainment 2%. I mean, I could go on. Just about anything you touch is over 2% lower, and the support was coming in from just a handful of stocks. Hindustan Unilever 2% higher. The rest of them not really worth a mention because they are flat. L&T, TCS, ITC, Bharti. That's it. It's 45 out of 50 in the red.
Oh yes, even in the mid-cap space, you know, Lata, there was deep gashes there, 2.5% lower for the mid-cap index. The market breadth was very weak today, almost 1,400 stocks on the declining side. And you had stocks completely pummeled today. Divi's Laboratories has lost about 11-12% today. It lost 22% yesterday on Friday. So Divi's hit a new 52-week low today. Bharat Financial Inclusion is not far behind. In fact, that stock too has lost 35% now in the month of December. EIL is the other one. It's been having a great run up until now. It is, but today, in today's trade, it lost about 6.5 to 7%. So clearly some profit taking there. And then you have a lot of real estate stocks like DLF, HDIL, etc. that are down about 6.5 to 7% odd. So plenty of stocks hitting 52-week lows as well. Let me just tell you about some of them. Apart from Divi's Labs, there was Just Dial that hit a new low today. Wockhardt hit a 52-week low today. And you also had a couple of names like BF Utilities, Treehouse Education and Apollo Hospitals that is sitting at fresh 52-week lows. So all in all, quite a disappointing day for the bulls. Market spooked by the possibility of some form of increased taxation in the budget, and that has not gone down too well today. But let's get some final thoughts in. Ashwini, suppose somebody has booked their profits on their short positions today. What would the advice be for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow he can get short again. See, 7900, 7950. This is a neckline of a head and shoulders pattern where the right shoulder has just failed. It's failed on some sort of news and with some sort of volume. So chances are that maybe it's too early to say, but the previous budget low of 7,000, 7,200 may not be out of question. That pattern has been initiated. Now let's see what kind of news flow comes in that takes us there. Similarly, the bank Nifty has just started expanding, and chances are probably we'll see 16,500, 16,700. These are stretched out targets, but short term, day to day, now 7950 becomes a huge wall, and unless we get past that, I don't think there's any question of going long.
Okay. Final thoughts from you, Prakash. Anything that you want to carry over?
I think that, no, I wouldn't like to carry over anything, but I would say that maintain shorts here as long as 7960 holds. But on the lower side, if tomorrow the 13th day down, if it opens the gap down, perhaps we could be seeing some kind of short covering there.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. That's Neeraj, Mr. Tulsian, Mayuresh, Ashwini and Prakash. Thank you very much for taking us through the last 1 hour of trade. It's an hour that didn't see further gashes in the Nifty, but saw further gashes in the mid-cap space, and all told gave us a market that is practically on its knees at this point in time. And so our closing bell money control question of the day.
Oh yes, it is to do with the issue that we had today.